Now, Volodymyr, thank you very much for speaking to us. I know these are desperate times. What's happening around you?
Yes, indeed, these are desperate times, but just for clarity purposes, I'm not in Kyiv. Yesterday night, I was trying to leave Kyiv. I got on the train to go to a western city of Lviv, which is supposed to be the safest place in Ukraine right now. Obviously, because of all of the chaos and all of the hundreds of thousands of people that were trying to leave at the same time, there were no direct trains. I had to take a layover here in central Ukraine. So I'm currently in a city here in central Ukraine. And again, for safety reasons, I don't want to disclose the name of the city. But my journey started at around 9 p.m. yesterday. I got on the train in Kyiv. I came here. I spent the night here. I slept barely 4 hours. And now I'm again on the train station, hoping to get on a different train and go to the west, go to Lviv. And right, you were describing earlier these deserted areas in Kyiv. From what I was seeing yesterday, what I was witnessing, these hundreds of thousands of people fleeing Kyiv at the same time, these terrible traffic jams on the highway. We were discussing also big lines on the gas stations. I'm here in this city, which is like somehow 200 kilometers away from Kyiv. And I was just, when driving here to the train station, I saw big lines on the gas stations again. So all of these people that are coming from Kyiv, they are still coming. They're stopping here to get gas, and they keep going. When I was trying to get a hotel here yesterday, all of the hotels here in this city of some 400,000 population, all the hotels were fully booked. It was pure luck that I got a last room at a last hotel here in this city.
Volodymyr, heartrending story coming from you, of course. I hope your family is okay. We know that you were on the move yesterday and it was difficult to get in touch with you. But very quickly, if you can still hear me, can you describe what is actually happening across Ukraine? We're getting a lot of mixed reports. We are being told that the Russians have made inroads into Ukraine, are holding some towns. Chernobyl has fallen. There is news coming from the east, which is also quite dire.
Yeah, the situation is very, very dire. The situation is very chaotic, and its development is changing with every hour. Yes, the Russians were hoping to get into Ukraine very quickly within 24 hours. Seize the capital of Ukraine, and their goal is basically decapitation of Ukraine's government and installing their loyal pro-Russian government. This hasn't happened. Ukrainian army has put up some fierce fight, despite the fact that the numbers and the technology and the military equipment is insurmountable. Incomparable what the Russians have and what Ukrainians have. Still, they have put like this fight. Unfortunately, and this is very scary. Ukrainian government confirmed that Russians have seized a Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and again, whatever happens there is now totally the responsibility of Russia. There are fights happening all around Ukraine. Some of Ukrainian cities indeed have fallen into the Russian hands on this southern part, on the northern part, where they were moving from two different directions. And obviously their main goal is Kyiv. You can see the pictures right now, which I believe is from Kyiv, from a residential building which was bombed, which was shelled. And this is definitely very, very surreal, a very frightening and horrific situation happening in Europe in 2022.
I want to ask you a little bit about the government now. What's been the response by the Ukrainian army and the government? First, the army, are they taking a lot of setbacks? And the government, is it really in control?
The government is in control. I'll start with the government. The government is in control. The president is making regular address to the nation. He claims he is still in the government quarters in Kyiv, which is heavily protected. You cannot get into the area where the top country leadership is right now, and that's obviously very explainable. And earlier today, or in the middle of the night, President Zelensky made another statement. He revealed to the Ukrainians that Ukrainian intelligence understands that Russia's goal number one is killing President Zelensky. Despite that fact, both the Minister of Defense, the president, they are in Kyiv, and they are very much in control of the situation which is happening. now going to the Ukrainian army, as we discussed, of course, Ukrainian army is much smaller and much poorer, if you will, equipped than the Russian army. Despite all the weaponry that Ukraine received from its Western allies in the last several weeks, this is still not enough. Ukrainian army is taking some of the casualties, but at the same time, Ukrainian army is having some successes. Just yesterday, there was a fierce fight for the airfield, just some 35 kilometers.
Yes, 35 kilometers, I think, outside of Kiev, and reports coming in that the Ukrainian forces might have actually been able to reclaim that airfield. That's what we're hearing. We're going to try. Yes, Mr. Solohub, Volodymyr, you were saying, yes, that they've reclaimed that airfield. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, there was a fierce fight and then reclaimed that airfield. But also there are some losses. A small island in the Black Sea between Crimea and Odessa was taken over by Russians, and all of the 14 border guard servicemen that were stationed on that island, they were killed. So the situation is very different in different parts. But from the reports that we're getting, that the Ukrainian army are still standing still, are still fighting back.
Where you are things calmer? And where are people going? You've said that a large number of people from Kiev have come to this particular city. It's difficult to find accommodation, and they're still moving on, perhaps westward. Where are they hoping to go? Are the borders open for you to go across into other countries?
Just yesterday, the government introduced restriction on all of the men aged between 18 and 65 to leave Ukraine. And the president has called a nationwide drive into the army. So men aged 18 to 65 cannot leave Ukraine. Women, children, the borders are still open. They can leave. But most of the people are going to the western part of Ukraine, which is the safest area right now. And the city I am in right now, it's on the path to western Ukraine. So a lot of people are driving through the city. A lot of people are trying to stay here overnight, refuel, and keep going. And this is already happening. This is continuing for more than 24 hours now. This flight of people out of Kyiv.
I mean, when you say that men between the age of 18 and 65 have been called in to serve, of course, you have conscription in Ukraine. Does that mean that someone like you will now have to go and register?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it means. If I get a notification from my local army recruitment office, I will have to go in, check in, and I've heard stories that people did that and they were immediately on the spot, were sent to the east, were sent to training camps, were sent to the army stations, army positions, and to be ready for combat.
That's quite a revelation here. So people like you would have to sort of join the draft. That's very interesting, reminiscent of what we've heard in the past during the World Wars, viewers. Volodymyr, what about the availability of essentials across Ukraine right now? Water, food, medicine, etc.
So far, we haven't seen any shortages either in food or water or gas, for that matter. A lot of people are trying to put gas into their cars. There has also been no reports of electricity shortages or Wi-Fi cuts. But this is something which is on the back of everyone, all the people's minds. And I think that starting from yesterday and continuing into today, people are stocking up on groceries, people are stocking up on food, and definitely preparing possible blackout.